So hello everyone, Myrmonden here, and welcome to my review of My Academia episode 10 season 2. What a good episode, another 10 out of 10 episode. This anime is an amazing episode, completely, it's too good. Like, it blew the budget right away, honestly. I'm still super hyped about the ending, right? It was like, did you just waste like 10 times the budget for this episode versus the rest? With the last scene there, I mean, just the animation of the last scene. Like, that was one of the best animations I've seen in my life, seriously. Like, when you see Todoroki do this hand thing, right, and they do this shine thing around him, just before that they like slice in and do this fire eyes thing over him, and it looks so good too because they combine like cold and heat, and then this huge explosion in the end, right? I think it's like, wow, that was so good. It's so good, and I love the detail too. When you see Mina say, removing her clothes so you can do her like their powers, and because she has to get naked for that pretty much, of course. And I see that they don't see her playing, I'm like, oh, my shot, why always me, you know. So I love that detail, cemento scene, everyone's around him. Yeah, it was such a good scene. Deku flying down over the ice, they're blasting the ice, exploding behind him when he's flying. Like, that scene was insane. That scene was easy. That was an insane scene, insane. That being said, let's just say the battle episode was perfect. The battle was just insanely good, right? And all, I mean, the whole thing, I was like cringe, hurting myself. I was watching, like Deku's like blasting his fingers, like blood is flying. That to me was too horrible and so on. But like, I was a bit later though. The hype is gone now. Okay, I have to talk about the flashback though, like the flashback. And I mean, I already knew what happened pretty much. I've already seen actually pretty much what happened, even in at that hallway scene a few years back. So, first of all, so definitely censoring that part right in the anime. I mean, I went and read the manga again for that part, for Todoroki's backstory, and he's actually puking in the dojo scene. So you have a dojo part where he's crying in the anime. That's in the manga, he's actually puking, he's like crying and puking, and it looks way worse. And then his mother tries to stop the fight, but his father like beating up to make him stronger, right? And he punched her or something like that. And that's not really shown either in the manga. It's kind of much more like anticipated in the manga that that's happening. But in the anime, of course, you just kind of like hear the sound effect pretty much. And the whole, so it felt a little weird. They felt to censor the whole thing there a little. But one thing I have to say though, I mean this is nitpicking on both manga and anime, is that I feel that what I know about Todoroki is that he doesn't hate his mother as much. I mean, I do get that he doesn't hate his mom on the same level as his father. His father is like up here, you know, super douchebag dad. He pretty much ignored. I have to think about this though. He has 4 kids, right? But the other 3 he ignores because they didn't get the fire and ice. They got either fire or ice, right? So Todoroki sort of is the only one having both fire and ice. That's why he's training him since the early age, right? And his father, of course, is desperate because he's tried to get, you know, this hybrid for many years before him, right? Because he has 3 older siblings, and they all failed because they couldn't get the fire and ice. So it's like, this is the last chance. So the fire has to, yeah, this is a chance I have to make him strong right there before I'm too old and so on. So you have to, I must say he's a good person. I'm saying that that's why he's so desperate, right? And the thing is that obviously his father is an absolute douchebag, and he, you know, he beats his wife, beats his children, and everything. But his mother beats her son instead, and that is like, you know, like, I'm picturing myself. I would be like, yeah, I would hate both my parents. I would still hate my dad much more, but it's kind of like, oh, my father punched my mom, so she punched me because she didn't punch my father back. That's kind of how their family was. Like, she is getting beaten by her husband, and she takes that out on her son because her son looks like her husband. Like that, and that is like, yeah, they're both really bad persons, right? They're really bad. But like, obviously she's abused victim, right? But still, she's like taking out her, you know, she's like, oh, I'm being abused, so I have to abuse someone else to make myself feel good, or like, or it's more about, I guess it's more about like she's hating her husband so much that she's punishing her son for her hatred against her husband, because she can see they have similarities. Because you should note, I think it's very good detail in both manga and anime, that his pupil on his fire side is the same pupil as his father has, kind of light blue teal color, and on the other side, with the eye side, it's like her pupil. So it's a different kind of faces, right? She's like, she boils water on his, you know, father's face side, right? And it's like, that is, yeah, I mean, I get it, kind of how she got there, but I just feel like obviously she's not a good parent, right? She tried like once to stop the fight, and then she was just like, whatever, she could call the cops, whatever, but obviously she could do something else, but it's like, I think it's pretty clear that she is like, oh, I have to get back to my husband, okay, he punched me yesterday, yes, I'm gonna like punch the only kid he loves, like, because think about it, in that sense, Daur is a horrible person, but he doesn't love all the kids. That's what makes him worse. I mean, he's a horrible father because he has 4 children and he hates his 3 first children because they are a failure, you know. So he like fuck those kids. Then he has his one only kid. He's like this son. He can actually become strong. He has the potential. So he's the only son he actually loves, and he's like, you know, twisted love, right? And she's like, yeah, I'm gonna fucking try to kill I'm gonna like punish my husband's favorite child because like, yeah, that's a sense. That's a horrible mother. Like, that's a horrible mother. And yes, she's like if this is the bottom of horrible scale, you know, she's up in the middle and he's like the top right. But still, that irritates me to the backstory in both manga and anime. Which he's like, you know, yeah, like my mom was awesome, my dad was horrible. Like, no, your mom was horrible too. Dad was way more horrible. So I think that's a little nitpicking, but that's annoying. That is a little like too much. Like redemption of his mother there. And I should note too, that wasn't the way in the anime, but you should note that she is sent to the mental hospital, and it wasn't really like she's at the hospital, like a foot away. And that's like he's at the mental hospital, and they had never met again. Like he has never talked to his mother again since then. Like she's been locked away at some, you know, institution by her father as she tried to, you know, pretty much kill her own son, pretty much. So that's like, yeah. But in a sense, right, Daur he's a freaking douchebag, but at least he has like a purpose what he does. It's like he beats his son in a dojo pretty much every day to force him to become a good fighter. She was just like, oh, I'm gonna try to like kill or whatever, burn my son alive, so my husband is like, to piss off. So I mean, in his mind at least, he's right to say that he's a horrible person. So I can understand what she's ending up there. Even legally, right, he is like much more actually protected by the law than she is. So it's like, it's kind of weird. It's a horrible flashback. It's a horrible backstory, like a horrible life. But I just think that his mother, in Toro's mind, gets away a little scotch-free, right? So anyway, I think that's the flashback thing. And the whole part with Deku, of course, trying to like, you know, show me your fire, you fucking dead. I love that part. It's so good. And of course, in the end, Toro's like, you're telling me not to be serious? You're the one motivating your enemy to be better. Like, come on, like, yeah, and that's like, yeah. But I think it's kind of obvious how Deku's gonna lose, right? Just from that alone, that it's like, his goal is more to help his friend to kind of like get away from his like traumatic past. So it's like, I'm gonna spend this fight to motivate my friend here to do his best. And it's like, yeah, and then he's gonna just defeat you. So it's a little like, and Todoroki even says it that, yeah, almost that, but Deku's a good character though. He's just a good person. He's like, he cared most about his friend, his nakama, his classmate there, more than as a tournament, right? And of course, All Might so on is like, yeah, I can see it. It's like, oh, Deku, you're just a good kid, yeah. And the people that know him, they're like, yeah, that's Deku for you. And that's a great scene, of course. But I do think it's a little obvious that he's gonna lose. Because like, around just a few minutes in the episode, it's so clear. It's like, oh, I hate you, you insult everyone, I'm gonna force you to firepower. So his goal isn't to win anymore, his goal is to make his enemy use fire, right? He uses half of the power, his Hambun, and that's just kind of like, yeah, so it's kind of obvious that he's going away from, you know, winning and more going to like some alternative direction. So I think it's pretty clear he's gonna lose though. But the fight is really awesome, of course, and it's really gruesome. I was like, oh no, Deku, stop hurting yourself. And the strive of Deku, of course, is really good. And the ending is just, as I mentioned in the beginning, the hype is still there. The ending is just like, wow, what is happening with this ending? I mean, seriously, that the manga, I read the manga again after the review. It's like, it looks pretty good. Like, and of Deku part, it looks actually much better in the manga. Or not much better, but I mean, the part where Deku looks like, you know, fight me with full power, that looks way detailed in the manga. And the fights in the manga, it's okay, like, it's not bad, but like the author has spent more time working on like the Deku pain and those parts, and actual explosions are they're decent in the manga, they're fine. But in the anime, they were like, oh, we're gonna spend like $1 million per screen a second here. They're like, vroom, every damn scene was like, like, wow. I mean, I just love that again with the hand thing when you see him like shining up there and all the frames when he's standing there like burning half side, other side. I mean, it's just so cool. But I think it's just fire and ice too, which is it's such a good combination. I'm working on one of my games right now, and it's like, yeah, I'm like, we should have an ice fire guy. Not better than Rocky. I'm like, that's always cool. Somebody can throw heat and fire. Like, it makes it looks good, right? It makes it look good. But yeah, amazing episode. I think I'm covered most of the things. I just want to mention a few details here in the end here. For example, you should look at the kettle where his mother is boiling the water on, and it actually has kind of like a teardrop falling on it. I really like that part actually. Don't miss on that part. You see that it's like falling down on it, right? And that looks like it's almost crying, and that's for boils him. That's a good detail. I also love the part where the blasting of the explosion, and we see Minetta. It's like, oh, what the hell? And then you see Shorty, the big octopus guy. He grabs him, you know, his teammates, because they were team, him and Sue, right? And it's like, hold on, Minetta! I love that scene too. Like, that's a nice detail there. And of course, with Mida Sensei, where she's like, what the hell? Shut the hell! She's like, why is she also there with Blanda? He gets hit by all of Todoroki's stuff. He's like, what the hell? Not me again! And she flies away there from the explosion. And also early, as I mentioned, we see her removing her power there. The moves are close and gets her power up. And of course, the man says that was great. That was details there too, yeah. And also all the blood, of course, Deku is flashing his fingers, the blood flowing, and later on, the blood around them when they're fighting and so on. So a lot of good scenes. A lot of good scenes there. Such a good episode. Easy 10 out of 10 for me. I mean, I know it's nitpicky on the Owens Martin, but it's just I feel like he should hate his mother more. It's like, I want this tragic story to be even more tragic. You should hate everyone. You should hate everyone equally. And no, it's like, it's a little weird to me, right? That he doesn't hate his mother as much as he does. Not an equal level as his father, but I feel like, I'm thinking about myself, I'll be like, yeah, I hate both, right? I hate both parts. Yeah, I'll be like, yeah, okay, my father was an absolute douchebag, I hate him. Because it's kind of like his story is a little weird in the sense of, it's like, I will fight only with my mom's power. But yeah, I get it though, because it's like, yeah, his father made his mother go insane, arguably, she mentioned earlier. But I guess what I feel is that even though his father pushed his mother, it feels to me that she should never take out her anger on her children, right? That's the problem, right? I think, because even if he was pushing her into that, she took it out on like a 5-year-old, right? So she can't just forgive her for that, right? She's like that is just she always has some issues herself, right? Because her mother is like, oh, I can't live anymore. I want to fucking kill myself. Oh, actually, I'm gonna kill my son instead because my husband's not my son. It's like, really? Like that's how you see you're solving your problem, right? So obviously she has some issues beforehand, and her husband pushed her in that direction. That I would say. So it's a little funky for me that he's like, I have to fight for my mother's sake. It's like, no, you should fight for your own sake and hate both your parents. Like, but anyway, this is the 10 out of 10 episode for me easily. Even with that, but it's like that part of me is a little. It's actually only the episode itself. I think it's more about the general character of him that to me is a little annoying in the sense that it feels like he should hate both parents more. It's like in the previous episode as well and so on, and also after this fight, right? But anyway, see you guys next week and have a great day.